With over 20 years of experience, this marketing guru can teach us a thing or two about the industry. My guest today will share her passion, and hopefully we can pick up some tips along the way.
My name is Bianca Barbucci. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, I'm a marketer, and my passion is traveling the world while I develop opportunities for businesses and share my knowledge.
Bianca, thank you so much for being on the couch today.
Thank you for having me.
I read so much about your biography and a bit of your background in your career, and I was curious to see how it all started, because from my understanding, this is not where you really started.
No, my career actually, if you read my LinkedIn profile, you're actually the result of my career. But I actually started, my passion's always been about travel, and I really wanted to explore the world. And I thought, what better way of doing that than to study languages, right? So I studied languages, wanting to be an interpreter for the UN, and travel abroad, or maybe even do some journalistic reporting. And then finally, I realized that I had to pursue my study much more. And I also had to, at some point, start working in an office by myself and not really having a lot of interaction, or be a translator, not an interpreter. And I said, okay, fine. I was out of school, and then I saw this job advertised in a newspaper for an advertising marketing agency. That was way beyond my qualifications. So but I applied, because I always go. When it says cul-de-sac, I still go to the street, because I always want to see what's behind. And so I applied for the job. They interviewed me, and they said, you're super not qualified, but we will give you an entry position nonetheless, because we like your drive, we like your energy. And that's how I started in marketing. And I sort of fell into it, and I never looked back, because then it became, I guess when you find something that you're good at, and that you love and be passionate and are passionate about, then it's a magic combination.
And it was unexpected. You kind of fell in love with it.
Totally. And you know what? Life is about unexpected things. I'm sorry. Life is about unexpected things that happen to you, and you have to embrace those moments and say, there's something out there that's telling me to go there. I'm going to give it a shot. What do I have to lose? And pursue things. And I strongly believe that life is a zigzag. It's not a direct line to a destination. And along the zigzag, you end up meeting people and encountering things and having opportunities. Experiences that enrich you, build you, and make you evolve. And you ricochet into another area, and you go there, and that's the fun part, because
it's the journey.
It's the journey rather than the destination, and that's what makes it interesting.
It's funny you say that, because a lot of the women I interview on the couch, they all reach their dream job or dream career kind of by accident. It was always a zigzag. I haven't met someone yet that I've interviewed that it was a straight line and they knew from the beginning and it was planned. Never. It's always a bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah, and I think that's the secret to happiness is in life and in your business is when you do things that you love, and that you embrace change and embrace the fact that you're not necessarily going to end up where you thought you would or where you started. And that's the interesting thing. A lot of unless you want to be an astronaut or a doctor, which really, there's a track that you have to follow. I've seen women change their careers at the age of 30, at the age of 40, at the age of 50, at the age of 70. Because, and one thing that has changed a lot today is the fact that women can embrace a career and work and be appreciated for their talent, no matter what age they are at. Betty White is 93 years old, and she still makes people laugh.
And everyone loves her so much.
I know, she laughs every day, so obviously that's very healthy. Because I strongly believe in laughter and smile and having fun. But women are, have the capability or the ability to live longer, work longer, and be, not just being put on the shelf at the
Right.
age of 65 when they retire.
Right.
And that's a welcome change for
More
me.
choices, and in terms of not only in terms of career, but whether or not they have kids, they have different career paths that they can take now.
Totally. And we were talking about that earlier. The women, I applaud women all over the place, everywhere. And I think women are fantastic, and women in business are fantastic. I actually try to embrace my womanhood in business, and sometimes a very male-oriented world. You don't have to act like a man. You have to be your woman,
Right.
and then not be afraid to wear a skirt or a dress or something a little bit more funky and sexy, just because you're working in a male-oriented world. For women, women make choices, and I applaud women who stay home and take care of their children. And I come from a family where my mother was home and my father would come home and we'd have fun time together. But my mom was home when we'd come back from school. And
Right.
I got a home-cooked meal at lunch and dinner, which
Right.
now you don't see so much anymore. Women who choose to stay home are making a great choice because that's their choice.
Right.
Women who decide to work and dedicate their whole life to their career, if that's what they find fulfillment in, then that's totally fine.
Right, it's their choice.
If you want to do both, even more fantastic. It's a question of also dealing with what life has dealt you in terms of
Right.
hand, and saying, what do I want to do with that?
Right.
In my case, I don't have children, but and I try to, rather than say, oh, I don't have kids, I'm missing something. I look at what I have, and what I have is a great career. I have an amazing family, amazing friends, and disposable income to be able to travel the world, which I really
Right.
wanted to do from
That was always your dream.
always my
Right.
dream. But I also look at, on my side, I make choices which don't really impact anybody because I don't have kids to take into consideration. So it's for me, it's a positive. I try to look at that as an advantage.
And you're a positive and optimistic person in general.
Yes, I am. Always. The glass is always half full. It's actually always full.
It's full.
It's full.
It's overflowing.
Yeah, exactly. And you need that. You
Right.
need that.
And that has followed you throughout your career, from trying out being, in languages and traveling the world and going into marketing and everything. You always look at the positive side, which is why you adapt to change so well.
Yes. And I believe I teach workshops in marketing and loyalty and customer experience, but I also teach in presentation skills and personal branding. And what I take away from that is the fact that I can give back something back to the community.
Right.
And everything that I wasn't born a teacher, but I became such a good coach in my everyday life, especially with young women, I would say, because being a woman in business is different.
Right.
It's a bit harder than being a man, but it's also different.
Right.
And you have to give the lessons that you learned back to the younger community so that they can avoid the mistakes.
Right.
Or get
A
through.
little guidance.
Exactly. And they can get through to the point faster rather than go through all the
Right.
nuisance that you went through. So coaching has always been a very big part of what satisfies me in my career, what I find rewarding. And the teaching part of it for me is something that I love to do, to give back and to just
Right.
transmit the knowledge that I have. And obviously I'm natural at it because people always came to me for advice and for guidance in their
Right.
career. And now I meet younger women everywhere, and they go, Bianca, I remember when you told me that, or I remember when you did that for me, and I remember that I was crying when I went to your office because
Aw.
the things you told me were hard, but I learned from it. Now today,
Right.
I'm in this position, or I'm very
They can
happy.
learn from your experience as opposed to going through all of it alone.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And so you're doing a lot more of that, right? Conferences and mentoring now. Is
Yeah.
this a recent thing in the last few years?
I've always taught, but I've always been teaching here and there.
Okay.
Now I'm there's probably 25% of my time that's dedicated to that. And I
Okay.
build workshops for people in companies, for different groups of people. And it's something that I really enjoy doing. And we were talking about women who have a career for a long time. This is something that I can do until I'm 85 years old, which I know that I will still enjoy doing that.
Right.
So the teaching part of it is really something that's rewarding for me.
Okay.
But my business is really the consulting part and
consulting.
helping companies grow and develop opportunities and develop their business.
So at what point did you decide to stop working for someone and branch out and be a consultant on your own?
And this is something that's going to sound weird, but I have, you have pride moments in your life or pride moments in your career. And I'm always talking about life and career because to me it's a blend of things. It's not one or the other. Women choose to stay at home or women choose to go in the marketplace. Some women tend to do both. But it's a question of what satisfies you, what you feel rewarded by. It's not about one or the other.
Right.
If you're working all the time and you feel you're missing something in your life, then you go get it. If you
Right.
feel like you're enjoying your life too much and not making enough money, then you do something about it. I believe in
Balance.
in balance. And I laugh with my friends who are all amazing women, and we say, work hard, play hard.
Right.
Well, now I do work smart, play more.
Yes.
So this is what I'm.
I like
I'm
that
driving.
motto.
You see? So work hard. I still work hard, but I work smarter.
Right.
And I play more. So we were talking about the coaching,
switch,
the switching. Pride moments in my career are actually when I took a decision to leave a really high-paying senior vice president type job.
Okay.
I've done it twice, actually 3 times, 2.5 times, I should say. And the reason why I left was not because of unhappiness, not because I wasn't paid enough, not because I didn't have enough challenge, just because I follow my instincts a lot, and I follow my gut feeling, and pursue my dreams.
Right.
I never want to have should have, could have, would have
Right.
in my basket.
No regrets.
No regrets. And not having children that I would impact on also contributed to my decision, to do it. But I left twice a job that I really loved just to do something else. And to
Right.
say, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it because I'm a loyal employee. And I was very proud to have left, having the guts and courage to do it, to go and explore something which I didn't even know.
You wanted to try something new.
Yeah, but what? I had no idea. And sometimes you need to close the door before another one opens because you need to leave a void in between to sort of clear the path and say, okay, what is it that I want to do?
Right.
But you never actually, when somebody tells you, think about it and what do you think about that? Spontaneously, it's hard to think, right? It's hard to think with a gun to your head.
Right.
So
You need time.
you need time, but you need to also, again, the zigzag thing.
Right.
You need to open up yourself to different things, You need to maybe pick up a sport, go to conferences, interact with different people that you've never dealt with. Because it opens up find the box. And it lets you see other things that you might have not seen before.
Right.
And then it lets you see things that maybe you are good at or that you like that you never even thought about.
Right. Or maybe even learning what you're not good at.
Totally true. Because that's one of the first things that you need to do is make a list of things that you're not good at.
Right.
And things you don't want. And it's not just things you don't want in terms of, I don't want a corner office or I want a corner office. It's about things you don't want to deal with.
Right.
I don't want to deal with a work environment where I'm responsible for 125 employees anymore. I don't want to do that. I want to work. I like the variety. I want to work by myself. I work all the time, but not full time.
I understand.
So there's a difference. So now if I'm really passionate about a project and I'm building a workshop, I can get up on Sunday morning on a day like today and work for 6 hours, and it's fine. But tomorrow I may go and do a yoga class in the middle of the afternoon. And I really enjoy that kind of flexibility because,
Right.
like I said, blend, not balance. There's a difference between balance and blend. And blend in life, it's a sort of
Right. I find
knitting.
that most entrepreneurs, that's what they enjoy the most about it. Is not they work just as much, if not more, than a 9 to 5, but they enjoy the flexibility of it
That's
and
right.
being in charge of their own time, their own schedule.
In charge. Very, very,
Yes.
very true. Because I could be traveling, I could be on vacation. Not that I don't take a break, but I do take a break. But if I'm disrupted during my vacation, it's not a disruption. It's fine. One of my clients needs me, and I'll take a few hours to help. And
Right.
it's a different way of life. Some people are meant more for the 9 to 5 job.
Okay.
But I mean, and one of my dreams is one day being able to spend a week working as a cashier at a supermarket, because I really would like to experience that.
serious?
I would love to experience, but I'm sure I would hate it. But I would love to experience what it is to get into a job and actually finish your shift and not really have anything to think about. Because I've always been in jobs, and I'm the type
Let
of
me
person.
know when you try it.
I'll probably be managing the store by the end of the week. But, it's one of those things where I've never experienced a work where, or even at school, where you walk out and the job's over. To me,
Right.
there's always something else
To do after.
to do after, because I'm always in search of betterment, involvement, things to improve, how to make it better, because I believe that evolution and change is good for brands, for products, for companies, and for people as
Right.
well.
No wonder you're mentoring people.
Thank you.
Because you're always growing, and so it makes sense that you would help other people evolve as well.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is I was talking about women growing older, too, in their career. And, in my mother's generation, or the previous generation, women, at a certain age finished their career and basically had to find some pastime to fill their time, because they weren't needed or actually appreciated for the talent that they had. And I'm glad that we're no longer in this type of environment. I'm glad that past the age of 65, the magic age, I will still be able to give back and
Right.
teach and build something constructive, even if it's for a charity organization. I want to bring my skills and my knowledge back to the people, and if I can get paid doing it, great.
Right.
At the same time, and I'm glad to see that women are appreciated or have careers that last longer than they did before.
Right.
Very much.
So you left TVA and then decided to branch out on your own, become a consultant just because you felt like it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that proved to be successful, and you're great at it, like everything else that you've done. So at this point, what is the next step? Do you know yet, or?
No, I
No?
don't know, because
The next stage?
I let things happen to me. There are things that I'm that I
Besides
would
being
like.
a cashier.
Yeah, besides being a cashier at IGA, only for a week. Only for a week. There's a manager out there watching this. Just you can call me, and I'll come and work for you for a week. I would like to. I actually attended a conference yesterday, and it sort of awakened some things that I guess have always been, present inside of me. It's about the giving back, and I'm not just talking about giving back to a charity, and I've never been comfortable contributing I've done the World Vision and all of these, you pay on a monthly basis, but you're not on the field, you're not
Right.
on hands. And I think I would like to be more on hands. And I think if I think of what I can add and what I can bring back is I would really like to lend my time to an organization who tries to teach women, especially women who are in countries where entrepreneurship and especially the women's status is a bit
Right.
inferior or a lot. I'd like to teach women on how to start a business, how to be creative about a business, how to market their business, how to get organized, to grow something on their own.
Right.
And yesterday I was watching a conference, and it's true that when you do that, it not only helps them from a skills standpoint, but it also helps them from a self-esteem
Right.
and confidence
Well,
standpoint.
it actually helps the whole community there.
Yeah.
Because some of the most successful programs to help impoverished communities have been teaching the women some kind of skill or how to monetize a skill that they already have.
Exactly.
And those have been more successful than just donating money or sending food or things. And you know, you help the women, you help the community because they're the one raising the children, right?
Exactly. And developing the economy and developing the
Right.
social community around there. And you're absolutely right. So this is probably,
I can totally see you doing that.
yeah, this is something that, you know, you're looking at the little pieces that are sometimes missing in what you do. The giving of my time is very important for me because I think it's the most precious gift that we have, and one that is not easy to give.
Right.
So giving time, whether it's to my family, my friends, I always try to be there, but giving my time also to, you know, to give back to, you know, what do I have to teach?
Right.
Giving it back, again, trying to grow something. And there's a legacy behind it as well.
Right.
But knowing that I made a small change or small impact in somebody's life, especially from a business standpoint, where I think I can add a lot, then it would be fantastic. Mentoring young women in business too.
Right.
I know there's a program that just started in Montreal with a bunch of women who I admire a lot. And if I could contribute to that, that would be amazing too.
Oh, okay.
So that would, but
Oh, let me know what program that is.
yeah, no, I will. But the other thing is, I'd like to continue my business, but I guess I'm also preparing for, you know, my older days, and
Right.
I'd really like to continue teaching, and the mentoring and the coaching, and that's what my consulting
Right.
business is really all about as well.
Okay.
So,
So when you mentor these girls, it's not necessarily part of the consulting business, but you use a lot of what you use a lot of what you do as a consultant to mentor. Okay.
and I guess throughout my career, I believe in mentoring. I mean, mentoring is an everyday thing. It's like parenting. You know, you don't sit down with your child and go, "Okay, let's talk about parenting today." So, and mentoring is the same thing. It's every day. It's role model. It's watch me go. Come with me. Let's work together. And if
Okay.
the person
I might start shadowing you, by the way.
if the person is you know, you're a sponge or you're not.
Right.
You're a sponge or you're a brick. So if you're a sponge, you'll absorb. And like I was a sponge too. And I remember specifically people and moments in my career that have made a difference. And there are things that I still do today where I think of specific people who have told me
Right.
how to do something, and don't do it like that, or don't do this, and so on and so forth. So I think it's an everyday thing. It's an ongoing thing.
So what is the top advice that you give to young women? The first one that comes to mind.
The first one that comes to mind is love what you do.
Okay.
Love what you do. If you don't like what you do, whether you're a cashier at a supermarket, if you are president of a company, a clerk somewhere, love what you do. If you don't love what you do, it shows. You're not passionate about it. The days are going to be long.
Life
You're going to have
is
a
too short.
miserable life. That's the first thing. The second thing is see the opportunities. Open your eyes. Always be ready. Always be ready for a meeting with the president. Don't come into work and dress the part. You don't have to dress, you know, like a superstar every day,
Right.
but be prepared
ready.
and represent yourself in the way that you'd like for others to see you.
Right.
So if you're not ready for a meeting with the president of the company, even if you're a junior coordinator, then you never will be.
Right.
You know? So dress the part and be, so because it builds confidence about who you are.
I love
The
it.
seizing of the opportunities is really important too. Like open your eyes to things that are happening. You know, sometimes it's not an interview. Sometimes it's somebody you're going to meet.
You never know.
You never know. So again, always be ready. Always be ready for that opportunity that's going to come, and not go, oh, you know, I don't look good today.
I'm not ready.
I'm not ready. You always have to be ready.
Right.
Always have to be ready. And I have a lot of advice.
The top one.
The top one. Okay.
Don't give it all.
Always be ready. And also, there's another thing too. The things that I've done in taking risks. I saw something written a couple of days ago that was called "fail forward," not fall forward. Fail forward.
Okay.
So if you're going to fail, take risks. Take risks that are not going to impact your
Right.
bank account and your reputation, but take risks. Calculated risks, and learn if you're going to make mistakes. Because if you don't try something, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
So you're always proud of having tried and having failed than not having tried at all. And that's why I left my 2 jobs and I really did something more productive with my life, and that I'm proud of having done. So.
Well, thank you so much. You gave me and the viewers some extra tips.
Thank
I was
you.
going to give them just one. You gave them extra.
bonus.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
and
Cindy.
I wasn't joking. I'll probably start shadowing you.
Okay, no problem.
And thank you to you guys for joining us for another episode of Couch Talk. And make sure you stay tuned for the next one.
Wish to see you, many other colors. Wish to see you, wish to see you.